Are you sick and tired of your sloppy ass rear end in your E36? Well, in this video, we're gonna get cracking on reinforcing and repairing the E36 rear subframe. So let's get into it. Next is the actual exhaust bolts itself. So these 6 bolts here, 3 on each header. So we'll just slowly get them out. Make sure you just take your time with these ones because they tend to snap the studs. Slowly lower her down. Also going to need to remove this guy, the heat shield, which is just 6 bolts holding it in. Yeah, she's definitely a little bit loud with no exhaust, hey. Now you want to get the car in the air just enough to take the wheels off. Now we're just going to use a small flathead or chisel to unstake the axle nut. Now we're going to pop the hubcaps out of the wheels and then put them back on. Now these axle nuts are going to be pretty tight, so a trick I found is to get a jack just to support the head of the breaker bar, adjust it to the right level. Might even need a cheater bar, and slowly undo the bolt. Now this is a really good time to check if your axles are stuck, so just get a hammer and see if you can hit the center of the axle in a little bit. I know mine are free. These notoriously get corroded in there, so if yours are really hard to get out, what I've done is in the past is you get 2 sledgehammers like this, get one mate to hold it like so, and then you get another mate to hit it on the back, and that should break it free. Now before we remove the drive shaft, we're just going to remove the axle nuts so that we can hold the axle in place and it's not going to move around. Now we're going to tackle the handbrake cables, so we're just going to pop them out from their little hangers here, like so. They should just be flopping loose. Now we're going to go inside the car and disconnect the handbrake cables. Now with that completed, you should just be able to pull the handbrake cables through the car. Now we're going to undo the brake caliper and the brake line bracket. Now the brake line should be pretty loose. What you want to do is drop the lower control arm, move the brake caliper down and sneak the line through the knuckle and the lower control arm. you can just undo the brake line, but this way you don't have to bleed the brakes or anything like that, and they can just chill there for now. Now we're going to crack the 4 subframe bolts loose, so 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we'll just loosen the subframe off the body. Now the subframe is pretty loose, so you just need to make sure that you disconnect the drive shaft from the front of the diff, and then that'll allow the subframe to sag down. And there you have it. Here is your E36 rear subframe. Now what we're going to do is just completely take it apart, take the diff out, take the rear trailing arms out, disconnect the subframe fully, and yeah, just get ready to press some of these bushings out. Now, the next thing that we're going to tackle is actually dropping the fuel tank. So pretty much the fuel tank, we're going to be working and welding here. The fuel tank's right, this guy right here. Obviously that's going to be really close to where we're welding. You can not remove it and just kind of try your luck at not burning a hole through the fuel tank and igniting the fuel. We're not going to do that. We're just going to play it safe, drop fuel tank. So we've got to come in from the top side, undo the rear seats, undo the sender and the fuel pump, and then we can undo these straps, undo the fuel line, undo the straps, and then drop the tank down, and then we'll be able to move it out of the way. So we'll just crack on and do that now. Alright, so now we're going to just take this off so we can drop the drive shaft, like so. Now we're going to drop the fuel straps. Now we've already disconnected the 2 fuel lines and the fuel breather. There shouldn't really be any lines attached to the tank. Definitely think we've forgotten these little trim pieces that are kind of hugging the tank. Alright, there's a lot of vapor lines. There she is. Alright, the tank is out. If you are playing along at home, just make sure you be wary. There are some fuel vapor lines go there. Just pop them off. I'll have to re-jig them because they're one-time use clamps, but yeah, just be aware that you got to undo those ones in the corner there. So now I've been able to completely drag the fuel tank out, basically remove that, chuck it in the next room, and it's not going to be a safety hazard for when we're welding.
Stand down, soldier. We're in observation mode.
So the subframe bushings, a bit hard to see on camera, but they were definitely on their last legs. They've got quite a little bit of cracking around the outside on the rubber, which is usually a telltale sign that they will blow out pretty soon. So we are going to be replacing these with some solid CMP Johnnies. So if you guys do want to check out any of the bushings that we are going to use from CMP, make sure you guys use code JPBuilds for a cheeky discount. But yeah, that's all we got time for. Don't forget to like, sub, all that great stuff, and we'll catch you on the next one. Peace.